Getting colder doesn't mean gardening season is over.
In fact, now is the perfect time to start planning and even planting for next spring. Joining us today is Emily Swihart, horticulture educator with Illinois Extension. Emily, as always, we appreciate you joining us today.
It's my pleasure. Yeah, it's fall, so you think like we're putting the gardens to bed and all your activities are done, right?
Yes.
Not if you don't want them to be.
Okay.
This is an optional task, but so a lot of people call and ask about pollinator friendly plants, native plants in our landscape. You can certainly purchase them at local garden centers or order them online. But a fun activity is to actually collect the seeds yourself and then start those plants, and so you can have them in your garden next year.
Okay.
All right, and all this process
this is
starts
something
now.
anyone can do.
Yes.
This is even me.
Yeah. Yes. We'll break it
And
down.
me
It'll
in
be
there, too.
very easy. Yes.
Okay.
So it starts right now in the fall with collecting seeds.
Okay.
And so first point I want to make is you have to have permission from the landowner to collect the seeds. We can't just go to parks. We can't
It's
just
important.
go. Yes. Yep. These all came
Don't
from my
steal.
own landscape. So if you know somebody who's already put in a pollinator garden, or you have some already in your landscape you want to propagate, those are great seed sources.
Okay.
But just ask. Most people are happy to share the seeds, but get permission first.
Good permission. Good
Please.
disclaimer.
Yes.
Yep. So then you want to find out what you want to add to your landscape. And so here we have a favorite shrub of mine, New Jersey tea.
Okay.
This is a lead plant, also semi-shrub. It can get pretty woody over time. And then I've got rattlesnake master here. And so what I did is I waited for them to bloom and then the seeds to ripen, so they're dry. These aren't, when they're blooming, these are white and those are purple.
Yeah.
And so let them dry on the plant, let them mature.
Okay.
And then you just harvest the seed, the flower head, right?
Okay.
I have, it's an envelope, it's a manila envelope, it breathes, so we're not going to trap moisture in here. You want to store your seeds in something that's going to be breathable.
Oh, good tip.
Yep, and I labeled it, so I remember
What it is.
Because I don't
Labels
trust.
are important.
Yes,
call.
labels are important. I also labeled the date of which we were putting the seeds in
Okay.
case you save seed from year to year, it loses viability over time. And so if it's like a couple years down the road, you might not have as many seeds germinate.
Okay.
So it's important to know that. And then where it's from, especially if you're collecting from a variety
From
of different.
home.
Yeah, it's from home, different locations. So I do that. Then I have a plate. This can get a little messy.
Okay.
But basically what you want to do is you just want to kind of clean your seeds from the plant. You don't need to store all of that plant material. So with like rattlesnake master, I'm just going to go ahead and like break apart. You can see some of those seeds in there, right?
Okay.
So just break apart that flower head. You can do that over there with,
Okay.
yep, your lead plant. Kyle, you're going to need to like crush. There's like a coating
Oh,
on those. and
okay,
you
yeah, I
can
see
kinda,
that
like
now.
crush it apart. This is just a fun way to get really up close and personal with your plants.
Yeah.
Like, investigate them. Kids love doing this activity. And you don't have to do it right away when you collect the seeds. You can kind of store them and then do it as a winter activity later. So,
Emily, am I doing this right?
yes,
If this
yep,
is correct,
yep,
okay.
Okay, so here we're going like those are
Those
your
are the
seeds.
seeds.
Yep, those are the
Okay.
seeds right
and then
there.
little sticks don't count.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, and that doesn't hurt anything.
Okay.
It just makes for easier storing when they're in
Okay.
this form than on the flower
perfect.
form.
I
Yep,
got
So
it.
you
Kyle,
just want to
you
get them
doing it
all
too?
off the stem then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Essentially. All right.
Yep.
Okay.
Because then we need to decide how we're going to actually grow these seeds. So
Right.
many native plant seeds need a cold treatment, which means we need to either keep them in our refrigerator,
Oh,
sure,
okay.
yeah.
or we can let Mother Nature do the work,
Okay.
which I prefer.
Okay, yes, let's do that.
So there's two options that people have for this. You can do what's called a winter seeding, where you've already prepared your site, like your garden site, which means it's weed-free, the soil has been kind of like tilled and broken up and made available to the seeds.
Okay.
And then you wait for a day in the winter where it's going to snow, hopefully like a light snow, but snow, and then go throw your seeds out. Just
Oh,
scatter them on the
Interesting.
ground.
Okay.
Native
That's
seeds
easy.
don't need to be planted deep into the soil.
Okay.
They just need to have contact. So what happens when it snows is that actually kind of presses those
Oh,
seeds
yeah.
onto
that
your
makes
soil
sense.
bed,
Nice.
and you're good to go. And then that cold stratification is happening,
Yeah.
and you just kind of wait.
But there's a challenge with that.
There is a challenge. The challenge is you don't know always what is emerging in the spring. You don't. It's a less controlled setting,
Right.
And so there might be some weed seeds, and it's hard to identify. Even for experienced native plant growers,
Right.
it's hard to identify. It can be done.
fun.
Yeah, it's gonna.
This is like
Therapeutic.
relaxing.
Yes.
It's kind of therapeutic.
Yes, therapeutic.
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Yep. Keep going. I'm gonna use
Keep
these
going.
seeds, so keep
She's
going.
like, I'm going to use these.
Yes.
Taking them with. So the more controlled way to start seeds and kind of a more hands-on activity would be with a simple milk jug terrarium kind of arrangement.
Sure.
So this you would do like late December, early January, a nice like winter break activity for kids. But what I have here is a cleaned out milk or water jug.
Okay.
clean it out if it's milk with a 10% bleach solution. Just make sure it's sanitary.
Okay.
And then, so in the bottom of this, I'm not going to pick it up because it leaks all over, but I have drainage holes. I've
Okay.
cut drainage holes in the bottom so
yeah.
the water can run through. And then you can see I cut around, 3/4 of the way around the milk jug so that I have this like flap. Put moistened potting soil in here, and what I would do is I would take some of these seeds and I would sprinkle them on top, tamp them down, just lightly press them in there.
Okay.
Okay.
Put the lid back on
Okay.
and use duct tape. I'm not going to do it because of the microphones, but trust me, folks, we would just put tape around it. I wanna
Imagine the sounds.
I don't want to blast out anybody's ears in case it picks it up. But what you would do is you would tape it all back together
Okay.
and take the lid off
To ventilate.
to ventilate and then let the moisture in. So
Okay.
you're going to put this outdoors.
Oh.
In a protected location, so like by a garage.
Okay.
Not in the garage, like on the outside of it,
Sure.
but kind of a protected location. You can monitor it over the course of the winter.
Yeah.
But it can sit there until the weather starts warming up. And eventually, as the weather starts warming up, you should start seeing seeds germinate. And then you remove it and you kind of treat it like they're your seeds starting and transplant them
And
when
you
you're
just
ready.
transplant them.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Couple of key points though too. I'm going to go back to that, like labeling it.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
you want to
Okay.
label what you put in there, and you can
Okay.
put a mix in there if you want, but just make sure you know what it is. And I brought a Sharpie today, but a word of caution: sometimes Sharpie is not waterproof.
Okay.
So if it starts to wear off, reapply your Sharpie.
Okay.
Or nail polish works really well.
There you go.
It holds, yeah.
Got that laying
so like
around at
that
home?
color you don't love,
There
go
you go.
ahead and just use nail polish to paint on there what you've put in there.
Okay, that's awesome. So anything else we need to know before we let you go about what to do with the seeds themselves, other than, I mean, do they need to dry out any longer or anything like that?
Yep, I would let them dry. Just kind of leave them in a well-ventilated, low humidity location until they dry out. Just a
Okay.
couple of weeks, just to make sure that all the moisture is out of them.
Okay.
And then when you store them in these envelopes, you want to put them in a low humidity, darker location. They don't have to be entirely dark, but somewhere like out of direct sunlight, and so that
Okay.
they
Okay.
keep their viability. Other than that,
That's it.
yeah.
All right.
You're
Yeah,
still going?
I'm still going.
Should I
think
put this in here?
the
Yeah,
New
we can.
Jersey tea is good to go, I think.
I don't think I should do it on TV.
We can do a little funnel.
Yeah, let's do a little
There we
funnel.
go.
Go.
Got 'em in.
Oh, thanks,
Got 'em
Emily.
in.
Yeah.
Love
thanks
Yeah,
Thanks.
thank you for
Thanks
sharing
for
these
cleaning
tips
the
with everyone
seeds.
today.
You're so
yes.
welcome.
All right, well, if you want more information on winter seeding, there are plenty of resources available. Emily, always a wealth of knowledge, but there's
Yeah.
plenty of information on their website. That's extension.illinois.edu/HMRS. Emily, as always, we appreciate you joining us.
Yes, thanks for
My
being here.
pleasure.
Yes, thank you.